Well, would you look at that, live and actually on time? Matt, you can't, you get no credit for being the first comment in your own podcast, but that's a good effort, man. That's a good effort.
If you ain't first, you're thirst.
That's true. So I'm Justin, that's Matty Dubs, and we're the Podcasting Dead, here to talk about the newest episode of HBO's The Last of Us, episode 6. And Seth will be joining us here in a bit. He's playing catch up and finishing the episode now. He had to finish last week's because he's been on a boat like the Lonely Island and just living it up. So he's getting back into the real world and catching up on his Last of Us. So he'll be joining us here in a bit. But in the meantime, as we get into the episode, before we get into the episode, I should say, don't forget to subscribe. Check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/thepodcastingdead. Don't forget super chats and super thanks and all that stuff helps out the channel a ton. And you can also find us on iTunes, Spotify, soon Amazon Music, and all that good stuff. So
we're also accepting nudies and dick pics.
Well, speak for yourself there, buddy. I'll take the nudies. The second part is not an acceptable form of payment.
I'm collecting them.
Yeah, well, you can send those directly to Matt. So, Matt, we got the 6th episode underway. I think I really thought you were about to start twiddling your nipples there. I was going to say, okay, someone's feeling spry tonight. What did you think of the episode, man? We're 6 down, I think 3 to go.
Well, it took place in my fictional homeland, so it was kind of cool.
Matt is a very, very proud Wyomingian. What do you call yourselves?
Wyomingian.
He's very proud to be from Wyoming.
I think it's Wyomingite, which is dumb.
The Wyomingite?
Yeah, Wyomingite.
That sounds like a pest you pay someone to get rid of.
It's tough to say those string of syllables together.
True that, but yeah. So what did you think of the episode, man? Good episode? Bad episode? What'd you think?
My wife said it was too slow for her taste. I agree there was some slowness, but there was a lot of, I think, like seeing like how invested Joel's, or like how emotional invested he was in like you guys see a vulnerable side of Joel, I guess what I'm trying to say. So I liked it.
Yeah, you're definitely starting to see the relationship develop between him and Ellie, like, starting to care. And for your people like yourself who hadn't played the game, this was lifted from the game, though it was kind of a
little spins.
They kind of changed a few things around, which I understand, probably time constraints and the length of the season and the way they're trying to move it along. With that said, I do agree a little bit with Dragos, and this isn't really a complaint for me, but I definitely thought the reunion between the two brothers would be a little bit better. But with that said, I know they're trying to get through this season, and in a video game, I guess you have so much more time than you do on a show. And as far as what's wrong with Joel, the whole heart thing,
those look like panic attacks. Those look like,
that's what I was thinking.
It's like 100% panic attack. Your chest feels tight and like things just get kind of blurry.
And see, that's funny you say that, because that's what my fiance said. Because I was like, oh, don't tell me they're going to give Joel like some heart condition, because that was not not in the game. And when he was describing it to his brother, Caitlin had said that she was like, it sounds like an anxiety attack. So Maddie Williams said, good episode. Yeah, I liked it. Like I said, man, I think that in terms of slowness, being this is not the video game where you're constantly running around fighting and killing and all of that, it's definitely going to seem a little slower in that regard. But it's like I said, it's a very character-focused story. So it's definitely going to be a lot of just them. A lot of, I think it was IGN. It was somebody I was reading a review of before the show ever came out, said that they gave it gave the show a 9.5 or a 9.8. So the only reason they wouldn't give it a 10 is because there should have been more zombies. Because my fiance mentioned that tonight. She said, those zombies are freaky. They're terrifying, all of that. But like, they just went like 5 days without seeing a single one.
Maybe it just cost too much for the animation.
Budget. They do very well with those, with the runners and everything too. So that very well could be it. I mean, The Walking Dead got to the point where, as much as I love it, you could tell by the later seasons, some of the zombies, like after the first row, were just wearing masks, faces decomposed and rotting, but then they lift their hands up, and you're like, "Ooh, his nails are very well manicured." Yeah. Zombies staying fly. Give this show all the awards. I'm with you, man. I love it. I love it. This show is a masterpiece. Oh man, Jason Barnes really digging it. That's awesome, dude. Yeah, I am loving it. I love it. I definitely, I have little things that I nitpick, but with that said, I've been very, very being one of my favorite games ever. I've been just very pleased with the way they're doing this show. I think that also too, it's probably one of the best video game adaptations I think I've ever seen ever, as far as the
Even greater than that of Resident Evil.
oh piece, let me tell you. Somehow a slow burn survival horror game gets turned into a techno infused action fest. But yes, much better than Resident Evil. Certainly better than the Resident Evil show that they tried to do on Netflix not too long ago. That was abysmal. Even if you didn't watch Resident Evil, it still was just hard to follow. What do you think, Matt? So we and I hope Seth's not listening. I see he's got his. Are you listening, Seth? He's down on the bottom. Okay. Well, he just shook his head. No, he's got to be listening. I don't want to spoil it for you, Seth. He pulled the ear plug out. Seth is actually in the bottom watching the episode. I'll be bringing him in when he finishes. But so, Matt, where do you think? What do you think's going on with Joel? I mean, do you think like he's dead? What do you think? I mean, it left off kind of in a rough.
Spot. He'll be okay.
He'll walk it off.
Yeah, he'll be. Is he okay?
As someone in the medical field, so for those that might be new, Matt is actually in the medical field as his profession. And Matt, I've always been told if you get stabbed or impaled, it's a good idea not to pull it out. Is that true?
That is very much true. If you pull it out, then you can bleed pretty bad.
What would the proper way? What's the proper way Joel should have handled that situation? Should he have pulled it? Should he have left it in until they were free and clear, and then pulled it out with the intention of immediately
holding insane pressure on the where he was punctured?
So, folks, you heard it from Matt. If you find yourself in the apocalypse and you get impaled, wait until you get clear of the threat, and then I guess what, Matt, have some gauze on you and be ready to pull and immediately put pressure.
That in his situation, yeah. I mean, Absolutely. I don't know what else he could do. Like, I would recommend going to your nearest medical facility, preferably not the hospital in our community.
Well, I mean, I would assume this is an apocalypse, so I don't know that medical facilities are just going to be out there ready to go. In fact, they were just in some kind of medical facility, and that thing was abandoned as hell.
But if you do find yourself punctured and you have reasonable access to a medical facility, if you're in the apocalypse, I get it. Hold pressure. Matt works as a naughty nurse. Yes, I do.
Oh, man. We got a super chat, which means, oh, gosh, we hadn't gotten one of these in so long. I done forgot where my super chat thing is.
Oh, God, you're so good.
That's Matt's twin brother. That's Matt's twin brother dropping us some love in the super chat. So thank you, other Matt. Or are you the other Robert? Let's see. Yes. Drago says this show has the same problem The Walking Dead does. How can a small community survive, but not the world? Apparently, communism is the way to go.
Yes, it was the answer this whole time. That's the show's message.
No, I mean, I like to think that at first it was all hectic. I mean, you got to think, man, this is 20 years past the fall of everything. So I'm sure it took a while. I mean, in the beginning, it's probably pure panic.
Just chaos, yeah.
So for me, that doesn't bother me as bad because it's pure panic in the beginning. Everybody's freaking out. No one knows what to do. And once it kind of settles down and people understand how the world works and you can have small little groups, I feel like pull together and make that work.
And reestablish.
And now joining us, he's ready. He took a pee and he's finished the episode. It's Mr. Appalachian American Seth himself.
Hey, what's up, man? How's it going, guys?
He's back.
Good, man. How you doing?
Pretty good. I'm on a cleanse, like a detox, because my liver hates me.
Oh, did you have too much to drink?
I'm glad I got the package because the drink package, because I would have hated to see my bill.
Yeah.
Matt, look at you getting some love there, man.
That would be good.
Michael, the problem is we're trying to keep Matt from unaliving himself, though. Matt has in solidarity with me made me promise that the apocalypse happens that I will take him out. But I've tried to tell him I will not because you'd be very useful.
See, the problem though with me in the apocalypse. Oh well.
Oh God, you're so good.
$2, but no message.
Thank you so much, Michael Heath. Loving
But
loving the super chats back tonight. But anyways, Matt, I think you'd be very valuable in Apocalypse. I would tie your hands behind your back and not allow you to take yourself out.
But like my expertise is in diagnostic imaging, so I could tell you, like, okay, you got gallstones, or hey, your arm's broken. That's nuts.
Matt be
What-
like, we
what do
have
we
no
do?
electricity. I
That's
can't
nuts.
help you. So, Seth, you just wrapped up the episode, man. What did you think? 6 episodes in. What are you feeling?
He loves it.
There was some interesting changes. I really hated missing out on some of the infected in the college.
Yeah. Well, we were
Um,
talking about it. I don't know if you could hear us, but it was saying like
No.
that's one complaint that I so I read a review before the show ever came out. I think IGN did it. Somebody, they gave it like a 9 out of 10, something like that, and said one of their biggest gripes was there's not enough zombies. There were not enough infected in the game.
Right.
I mean, well, in the show, which I get it. In the video game, you got to have something to do, so you see waves and waves of infected, but it don't mean we couldn't see a few more in the show.
Right. Well, my issue, I have an issue with IGN, but that's a different topic for a different day.
We figured you did.
Well, I mean, when you get paid for your reviews, sure,
Well, that's
yeah,
like
of course.
that's like product reviews on YouTube, man. Whether it be
I know, it's all paid for.
any hiking thing or anything like that. As soon as they're like, we want to thank Ruger for sending this out to us, I'm like, oh, I'm out.
Yeah, that's because Ruger gave them a gun.
Right.
Which,
So of
hey,
course they're
cool.
gonna review it.
I like your little Rick.
Oh, that
right-
little
right
Rick.
there. Yeah, I just
You know-
noticed him.
I got that from, it was either JP or Matty D, the other Matty D. That actually, you can see both JP and Matty D in our upcoming Patreon cast. So if you
Ooh.
are a long time listener, you definitely want to check out the Patreon because they are both going to be in that
Oh
one.
man,
Oh, I'm gonna listen so hard.
I'm
Granted-
on that one.
Granted,
I'm ready to go. I'm gonna be on that one tomorrow.
Matty D is a little bit of a cameo, but nonetheless, it's great to see him.
That's cool.
Joel's speech to his brother was intense. I thought that was really good. Like Matt said, it was good to see like a vulnerable side to
I didn't like him
Joel.
crying.
You got to be a man.
In my notes, I put Pedro crying.
Well, you just don't like is it that
I
you don't
don't-
like Pedro crying, or you didn't like that they had
I don't
Joel
like the.
crying?
All right, Pedro Joel cries. Troy Baker Joel doesn't cry.
For those that don't know, Seth really is not a fan of Pedro Pascal, but he's
Yeah.
a fan of the game.
He's a
Yeah.
national treasure.
Mm,
And Matt, not to get too far off, like I said, we won't do much Walking Dead stuff on here, but you do have a question. People were talking about payments and supporting the channel. Do you accept Pope picks?
Yes, I do. That is actually the only form of currency I accept.
All right, so you can help support Matt by sending pictures of Pope to him. Please,
I got to
dear
work
God,
on like
don't.
I got a whole blank wall behind me. I need to put pictures of Pope up.
Yes, Rick is sitting beside Thanos because, to be quite frank, right to that side, there is an entire chair full of action figures and statues and stuff that I have nowhere to put. So Thanos fit right there. So there he is. And you can barely see
the
him,
juxtaposition.
but the Punisher's back there too.
I
Anyways,
was wondering who that was.
the Punisher.
All the black kind of just blends.
Can we get Pedro to guest
Yeah,
chat?
sure.
That would
Why
be
not?
incredible.
I'm sure he ain't
So-
doing nothing.
So Seth, as someone who played the games, they definitely made some changes this episode. We know in the game that he does get impaled, though not quite the same way. I know they had to speed it up. I think if I had one little thing that I hated that they left out was I hated that Ellie didn't steal a horse and run off like she did in the game. I thought that was,
Yeah.
like her taking off, I think really helped in the game Joel to realize he didn't like the idea of her being out there without him. And further moved him to change his mind.
Did you when Ellie took a shower and got cleaned up and got her new clothes and whatnot? Did the room look familiar?
It did look familiar. You talking about when she was sitting there reading the journal?
Well, yeah, that room. All right, that room is the room where Joel finds her when she runs off
Oh, that's right.
in the game.
because I love the because that room I loved the exchange. I give it a great score. I love the exchange between Ellie and Joel there. The only thing that I hated, and this is very nitpicky, this is just being a fan of the game, and I don't demote the score of the show on it, but when she was like, "I'm not her," like I love the
Ooh.
delivery that Troy Baker gives in the game where he tells her like, "Ellie, you are on mighty thin ice." Like I love that line, and I was so bummed that he didn't say it. Everything
Yeah.
else was word for word, but they left out the "you are on mighty thin ice." Like I was ready for it, but
When he thought that he saw Sarah in the crowd, like the little anxiety issues, that was hard. That was like very like I got kind of not emotional, but like I was like, oh, Joel.
Oh, I thought that was cool because we didn't really
Did
get
Seth
that in
cry
the
like
game.
Pedro Pascal?
No,
Seth, show us how you cry.
I'm a very emotional guy, but I'm not Pedro Pascal.
Cry like a man.
I feel like to cry like a man, you have to smash the ground as you're crying. But
Yeah.
but no, that was a nice little touch because we didn't get that in the game, so it was cool to kind of see. Because in the game, he really doesn't talk about his daughter much at all. I think it's one of those where he's just put it behind him and tries not to think about it. Of course, it's why he doesn't get close. So I
Other than
agree.
like
I
the
like that.
dreams.
Yeah, well, talking in his sleep and
Yeah.
stuff. Why are they not staying in Jackson? Because they got to get her to the Fireflies I thought, can we just comment too on how awesome the town looked? Like it looked very similar to the game.
The college, the what?
No, talking about
Jackson?
the town where they were at.
Well, I mean, did we really see much of Jackson? I thought it was all at the dam.
We'll see. I'm thinking, so the opening of The Last of Us 2, you see a whole lot of Jackson and it's snow on the ground and stuff. So
Well,
it looked just like Jackson from The Last of Us 2. I was pretty happy with that.
I felt very Woodbury vibes.
Yeah, definitely. If only the governor would have stepped out.
Yeah.
Hi there, Joel.
Damn.
Let's see.
Brian.
Joel falling on rebar always reminds me of Rick. Yep, and technically Joel did it first.
Yep.
Let's see. Did you see the Dina cameo? I was looking to see if like a Dina would pop up. I didn't. Where was their Dina cameo?
It was
at?
when they were eating lunch, dinner, whatever. I don't know, whatever time it was. When they first got into town, they were eating. There was a girl hiding behind the pole, and it was like, "What the f are you looking at?"
Somehow I must have missed that. I always go back and rewatch these like on Monday or Tuesday, so I'm gonna have to go back and watch because I must have missed that one part. I did have a 3-year-old sitting on my lap trying to give me a haircut and all of that, so that might have had something to do
As she
with it.
moved on to not doing makeup.
Yeah, she's moved on from makeup now. She wants to give you fake haircuts, and she made me sit in her little girl recliner, which I broke earlier by just sitting on it and laying back. So, well, yeah. So, gonna have to get another one of those. But I did not see the Dina cameo, so I'm pretty stoked for that. I'm gonna go back and be looking for it again. Let's see, another Pope comment.
Most of
Just
this was
watch
shot in Canada. Was like none of it. Well, I guess a few parts were in USA.
Jay Scarf says, "I'm shocked. Is Joel actually dead?" Matt, Seth, and I know, but Matt, again, I ask you as someone who hasn't played the games: is Joel dead?
I don't think he is.
He gonna be fine. He just got
he's
walk
fine.
off.
Just a small impaling wound.
'Tis but a flesh wound.
The next episode is going to start with him sitting up going, "God, that hurt."
That hurt. Damn.
As fast as they're moving, it probably will.
Well, I think the next episode, if you're familiar with the games, I think we're going to get into cannibal territory. Not to give too much away, but I think that's where we're headed.
You
next,
gave a lot away on that one.
Well, I mean, we've had raiders and I try not to call them zombies, even though essentially it's what they, on the set of the show, they were very particular. No one was allowed to use the word zombie on set. Just, I guess, because they, they are zombies, but they want to be more referred to as infected or runners or bloaters or whatever. So they just like ban the word zombie from the set.
It's very derogatory.
I don't think I've ever seen that together. Yay, cannibals!
Right?
I can see Matt saying that. You're on an exotic excursion, and it's like, be careful. That's a cannibal tribe there. Matt would be like, yay, cannibals.
I was getting a little hungry.
I thought I like the conversation with Tommy and Joel too, though, where he talks about Joel killing people. Like, I like that, again, because a lot of the character study of the first game has been like, I mean, you can find tons of videos out there on YouTube, just like, is Joel actually the good guy? Because he's not really supposed to be. He's more of I guess, an anti-hero, but he's a good guy. He's a good guy who kind of became a bad guy to survive, and then has now kind of become a good guy again. So I like that we get a little bit of backstory on.
I liked it. I liked that Tommy made the statement: "A bad reputation doesn't mean you're bad."
Yeah. Yep.
So, I mean, I get in the apocalypse, like, you do what you got to do. I mean, do you really have to? Are you really a bad guy for taking care of your people?
That's the question.
Yeah, therein lies the question.
One could argue that Negan was a really good guy, because even though he did some horrible stuff to other people, he was doing it all trying to protect his people. So, I mean, it's like, it really just falls on where your code is and where your morality lies. We would all like to think in the apocalypse we'd be good guys and we'd save people and we wouldn't hurt nobody. But at the end of the day, like, when you got kids or people you're trying to keep alive, there's no telling what you would do to whom you do it to.
You're always the bad guy in someone's story.
Yep, absolutely. Rick was the bad guy in Negan's story. Rick was the bad guy in the governor's story. I mean, a lot of times it goes that way. Absolutely. Seth, you could probably answer this better than me. How long have Tommy and Joel been apart? And wasn't it like 3 weeks at the first episode?
In the first episode, that it's how long they had spent, like, from talking, like
communicating on
through the walkie-talkie, the radio. But I'm not wondering if it's been. They never mentioned anything about radio in the game, and I'm not wondering if it was shortly after Sarah's death.
Yeah, because I mean, we know he had this whole time, obviously, that was spent with the Fireflies, and that was a whole thing. So we know that had to have happened. But
the way that it was discussed in the game, I would assume 10 or more years they had been apart.
Yep, and the show might be making it not as long. I don't know yet, because that is a good question. I'd have to look into that. But yeah, in the game, it had been quite a bit longer. I was kind of sweet though when Joel gets to town and is like, Tommy,
my baby brother,
which is basically like poor Tommy though. Joel shows up and it's like he's excited to see him, but like really Joel just wants him to do something for him.
I need a favor.
I feel like
$20 I can borrow.
I get paid next week. I feel like it was an awkward way to bring him into town. Just bringing him in, him yelling, like everybody and their brother's like, "Who's this idiot?" Like,
what if there would have been like multiple Tommies?
5
there?
Tommies, like, hey, me? What? Huh? Me? Huh?
Would have hit it, and everybody would have been like, "I'm Tommy. She's Tommy. He's Tommy.
She's Tommy with an I.
That dog is Tommy. Like, which Tommy are you hollering for, pal?
Mister, you're in Tommy Town."
And well, I guess
Thomas.
Sweet Thomas. Sweet Thomas. Bruh, did y'all see the CRM chopper in the background? No, I did not. No, I didn't see a CRM chopper. But I will definitely be going back to watch. I thought the monkeys were a cool touch too, because you get that in the games. I hope we get the giraffe scene from the game.
You got a jump scare. That was in the game.
I hope they do the little giraffe scene in there. It was kind of because if you notice, there's quite a few nods, like especially as you get into like the second game to like Jurassic Park. Like they talk about it quite apparently as one of Joel's, not I would say his favorite movie, but it was one he liked quite a bit. So I really, like in the first game, the giraffe scene reminded me of Jurassic Park when he's showing them the Bronchiosaurus or whatever, and it sneezes on the girl. So hope we get the giraffe scene, but the monkeys were a nice touch because you certainly would have a lot of wild animals running around in this situation. I think that Joel's brother is going to pull up and save the day. Oh, okay. All right. We'll have to see.
Who knows how different the show is. It very well
me and the Tommies, we all banded together to save you, Joel. We Tommies love you.
Slippin' Jimmy says there was a giraffe poster in the background of the room Ellie was in. I mean, this show is absolutely packed with Easter eggs and small nods. I mean, whether you end up coming out of the season loving it or hating it, you got to give it props for being very, very detailed in like shouting out the game. I mean, it's been a pretty interesting adaptation. Let's see. Have y'all seen the new Ant-Man movie?
Have not.
Not yet.
Not gonna spoil that one for you, pal.
That'll be okay.
Go up one comment. The Jay Scarf, some Negan stuff. We're all Tommy.
We are all Tommy.
We're all Tommy.
Who are you, Joel? I'm Joel.
I'm Tommy.
No.
This is
Who
Tommy
are you?
Town,
I'm
Joel.
Tommy. Oh man, it'd be interesting to see some crossover there from the Walking Dead, because I just think that I don't think they'd be ready for this world.
Yeah.
Oh, so I do like too the neck breaking that Joel did, because we do see that some in the game, so that was cool. Even though breaking someone's neck is quite a bit tougher than that. Not that I know.
You just don't squeeze them.
Because it's like in shows they'll just be like. It's like,
man, my neck has never felt better. Thank you for that.
Like, you didn't kill him. You just gave him mild whiplash. So
he's like I'm also a chiropractor.
Yeah, man.
So I'm pretty
that
sure
pain
you'd have
going
to,
down my arms.
Pretty sure you'd have to about twist somebody's head almost completely around to break it in that way. So it's like, but it was cool though, because they do that in the game. And of course, Abby does that in the game. So cool to see that. So, yeah, I think that we are close to seeing Troy Baker. I'll tell you that. Troy Baker is the guy that voiced Joel in the video game, and I'm thinking we're going to see him in the next episode or two. So that's going to be really cool. Let's see. Do you want season 2 to be similar to The Last of Us 2? In some ways, yes. In some ways, no.
They've already come out and confirmed that.
Yeah, like it's going to be based on the second game, which I would imagine it's going to be 2-3 years before we get it.
Apparently they're in talks with Scott Steiner to play Abby.
Who? Oh, Big Papa Pump.
Yeah, because he's a genetic freak.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, there is a scene in the game where it was just as the second game now, where Abby's looking for. Dang it, man, I can't think. Where Ellie is looking for Abby, and this guy's like, stocky girl, arms as big as mine. Like, yep. Matt's gotten to watch me play some as Abby.
Yeah, I'm like,
so
this girl is huge.
So, a buddy of mine was live streaming The Last of Us Part 2, and it come to the scene in the boat where Abby's getting smashed.
Oh yeah.
His channel got a copyright strike, or a community guideline strike, a hard strike.
I would imagine.
He appealed it and claimed that it was 2 men, and they went back, checked it out, and took it away.
You are kidding me.
I swear.
I mean, she is jacked. I mean, and she really, I can see it.
She has a man's body.
She's based off a real person.
Yeah, and the real person's really pretty.
Yeah, she's based off of a real person.
But she's not as jacked.
No, they actually did her. They did her
off of.
They did her.
I'll find her.
She's a live streamer. I know she does live streaming. They like based her face off of this girl and then gave her the body of some female champion bodybuilder or something, like is what they based. So they gave her, this streaming girl's face and then this other jacked
Arnold's
girl's body.
Laura Bailey.
Laura
Bailey is the one who voiced her, but that's not the face model. Laura Bailey is my favorite, is one of my top 2 favorite voice actors of all time. She voiced Kid Trunks in Dragon Ball Z.
Oh yeah, you're right. Here it is.
Matt, that's cool. That's something that you probably didn't know, Matt. So
I did
Abby,
not.
Abby the Jack chick.
She was Trunks.
The girl who voices Abby also voiced Kid Trunks.
Yep. Wow.
She has done an incredible amount of voice work, just like Troy Baker, and that's my top. Troy Baker and Laura Bailey, like tied for my favorite voice actors ever. So they, the girl that voiced Abby also voiced Kid Trunks, which is pretty cool.
Interesting.
And even Kid Trunks wasn't that jacked.
Goku!
But yep. So yeah, we'll definitely be seeing season 2 following the second game, and I feel like it's I feel like the show is, especially for people that have not played the games, I feel like the second season is going to divide people as much as the game did. I feel like it's going to be like I feel like it's going to be Negan's introduction all over again. Roger Clark and Kevin Conroy for me.
For what, voice actors?
Yeah. Oh, Kevin Conroy, R.I.P. Another, which he passed. That was last year, right?
End of the year.
He would have been a victim of 2021. 2022. Yeah, sorry. It's late. Yep, that's the live streamer that they voiced Abby's face off of.
Yeah,
I've watched
Mettler.
You can actually watch too. The girl whose face, she didn't voice her, but the girl who they face modeled Dina off of, she's got a video up where she plays the game, which has got to be weird to see your face, but someone else's voice coming out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it'd be like they used Matt's face model and then had me voice him.
Well, yeah, I see your face, but I hear my voice when you imitate me with the "Hey Siri."
Hey Siri.
Yes, Justin. What can I do for you?
No, I'd be like, yes, Matthew.
Which phone for Justin Lloyd?
Which phone number for Justin Lloyd? Oh, let's see. Here we go. Colleen Fotush was the body model for Abby.
Colleen Foch.
Cool name. But yeah, so we've got the let's see.
Hang on, here it is. Accurate. I don't need audio. Here you go. Accurate.
Damn.
She jacked.
Yeah.
She jacked. I mean,
how do you? Never mind. We'll save that for season 2.
She jacked. Yeah, we'll talk about Abby as she's introduced. We'll be talking a lot about it, I'm sure, because she's a very controversial character.
Train wreck of a character.
Do what?
She's a train wreck of a character.
We'll talk about that later. Slippin' Jimmy. I really don't think Abby is in the wrong for the moment in the second game. I'm with you, Jimmy, but we're not going to get into that because we're not spoiling the game. We're not spoiling season 2 for anybody. Whole nother discussion. Yeah, I 6 episodes in and I like it. I think two though, the ending of last episode. And Seth, you didn't get to podcast for last episode. What did you think about episode 5? Going back an episode.
Let me get my notes. There were some things that I liked. There was some things that obviously I didn't like, but let me find what can you just work right, computer, for God's sakes?
Come on, computer.
God, you're such a piece of junk. All these different tabs. I liked seeing the bloater. I liked the street. This is things just from memory. I liked Henry and Sam were cool. I don't know. I just feel like, oh shoot, I saved over my episode 5 notes. Son of a
son of a. No, wait, that's the cricket button. Where's my bleep button?
I had notes too. Deck on it. Let me try to think. All right. You get to see the bloater. That was nice. The I forget the guy's name. He was Kathleen, which I hated. Kathleen from the get-go made no sense. She was tactically stupid and just not interesting. But her second-hand man, the guy that was the voice actor for Tommy in the game, watching him get Joel's cutscene death anytime you run into a bloater was pretty cool.
Yep, because he does that. He grabs the jaw, grabs the top, and like rips the top of your head off. And so to see them do that, that's what I say, man. Even if you don't like the show, you got to give them credit. At least they they do try really hard to stick to things that make the people who play the game go, "Oh, that was in the game."
Yeah, that was cool. Seeing, I hate that they didn't get out. They didn't get through the bridge. They went through like underground. And in the game, they went like across the bridge, fell off the bridge, and got washed up on a shore. Come in through some sewer tunnels into the city. They were looking for a radio tower. some of the things inside, like the colonies they were talking about that they set up, was really cool. I like seeing the nursery with all the kid stuff in it. It was cool to see. In the game, there was like little dead bodies in the nursery, and that kind of hit hard,
Oh yeah. But you did get a kid clicker, so
that was different.
That was pretty gnarly.
Because you never see kid in the game. You never saw any kids. I mean, obviously, it was just, a few different files. What else was there? There was a few more things that I liked. I don't remember. Daggone it. I hate this.
It's all good, man. Drago says Dead City comes out in 2 months, and yes, we'll be podcasting about that. So make sure you check back here for when that does start. I need to get on it, man. I have not been reading any articles about it. Like I thought about doing like podcasts for because we used to do that on the channel. Anytime they released an update about some upcoming Walking Dead stuff, we'd talk about it. But I just don't know where there's time to fit that in. But so I'm pretty stoked for that. But yeah, fellas, as we wrap it up here, let's rate tonight's episode. Seth, you get an extra rating if you want to start off by yourself and rate episode 5. 1 out of 5.
Oh, and one more thing that I thought was portrayed better in the game was the self-deletion of Henry, because it was so just right there, and like the camera doesn't look away, you see everything, and I thought that hit emotionally better in the game than it did in the because you cut away and you're looking at Ellie's face.
Yeah, so. I agree and disagree at the same time. Like I agree with the cutaway. I don't think they should cut away. I think that just makes it so much more raw and real. So I do like that. I did like, I don't know, for me, his reaction in the show hit me harder than his video game reaction. I mean, they were very similar,
right?
I just think the actor just did such a good befuddled face to where it's just like, what did I just do? So I like that, but I do agree they should have not cut away, because it's just, this game's brutal. It's just brutal. So I mean, it's, I can agree with that.
If I had to rate episode 5, it would probably be a 4.
Yeah, it's better than I thought you would have gave it. Yeah.
What were you thinking?
Like a 3, maybe.
Yeah. I mean,
can't take it back now. You got to
stay
with 4.
Locked in. Lock it in, Justin.
I toyed with like a 3.5 and 4. I went with 4 just because it was cool seeing the zombie.
That really
the infected.
Yeah.
It was.
Because that scene was dope, man. When the thing caved in and they all started coming up.
Yeah.
Like I just remember my fiance was like, "Holy crap!"
Why were there so many in the basement of that house?
I don't know. I guess
they were having a party that night. I guess. Yeah.
It was a rave in someone's basement.
Who messed up our rave?
But yeah, I like just that scene, and also if you guys check out our Facebook fan page, I dropped a picture of that soundstage lit up to where you could see all the see the main portion of it, like a good visual. That whole thing was set on a soundstage.
That's pretty impressive.
Pretty neat. So yeah, it was pretty cool. But yeah.
Let's see. Let's go. Let's make Matt uncomfortable. Matt, you got the full screen. What's your rating of this episode? You got 1 out of 5. What you think?
I'm gonna say 4.5 out of 5 because I liked the dialogue. I liked that it takes place in my fictional homeland. I'm deducting half a point because I would like to at least seen at least one zombie.
That's fair. That's fair. So 4.5. Seth, what are you giving this episode?
I'm going with a 3.
Understandable. All right, Justin, reluctantly lock it in.
All right, so for this episode, hate to copy Matt. I feel like I need to do a 4 now because I was going to do a 4.5, but I'll say 4.5. Like I liked it. It was good. I mean, I understand that you're not going to be able to do everything on the show just like the game. I know they've got time constraints. They've got HBO overlords that are like, here's how many episodes you got. Here's where we expect you to start and end, So I mean, I get that. So it's, I still liked it. Some of the changes I wasn't thrilled about. I think Ellie should have definitely rode off on the horse. I thought that had a big impact on Joel. So, I definitely hate that they cut that out, and it was changed to just a change of heart in his sleep, I guess. But with that said, I still very much enjoyed it. So I'm going to do a 4.5. Sorry, Matt. You got to
Lock it
cramp
in.
your style and take your score.
Hey, no cramping, but you got to lock it in.
But yeah, man. So we'll be here next week for episode 7. Granted, they don't have any more Super Bowls planned. I think that it will be next Sunday again.
They're doing a redo next week of the Super Bowl.
No, they want a rematch. But yeah, so thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of it. Don't forget to check out Seth's channel. Seth, is there a link in the comments I can throw up real quick where they can find your channel?
Actually, if you'll just go to the Podcasting Dead link tree, you can get in touch with Justin. You can get in touch with Matt. You can find me.
Please send
all
all
of us.
pictures to
the Podcasting Dead link tree is the one-stop shop for anything.
But make
Like,
sure all
go
pictures
there.
go to Seth to screen them before they come to me.
Have Seth's people reach out to Matt's people.
Oh, speaking of which,
Yeah.
let's give Seth a happy belated birthday.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. What are you now,
He is
like
now
23,
47.
24?
34.
34. My
34.
God.
Damn.
Damn.
I'm older, so I mean, it ain't too bad. There's nothing bad from here forward, Seth, except for achier joints. Somehow you never sleep good. You wake up every morning feeling hungover. But other than that, your mid to late 30s are great.
You're still alive.
Yay.
It's wonderful.
The aches are just God's way of letting you know you're still alive.
One of these days when you wake up and you don't ache, you're like, hey, what's wrong?
Oh, God, honey, I'm having a heart attack.
No.
I died. But don't forget to check out Seth's channel. The link is right there. There's his link tree. You can check out our link tree here. Don't forget to check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/thepodcastingdead. If you're a longtime listener, as I said in the beginning, there will be a Patreon cast that I will be posting. I was going to post it today, but there's some discrepancies I can't really go into as to why I didn't post it today. But it will be posted tomorrow, and there will be an appearance from Matty D, the old Matty D, and JP both. So that'll be available soon. Also, retro reviews coming out every week. You get them a little early on Patreon. So all that good stuff. So in the meantime, I guess as we wrap it up, I'm Justin.
Hi, Justin.
Hi.
Metadubs.
Y'all have a good one.
Seth. We'll see you soon.